Hello everyone! I haven't done a bookish video in what feels like a while. The last one I filmed was like in July, so I hope I'm not too rusty, but forgive me if I am. So today I thought we could discuss my fall TBR. Yes, fall is almost upon us. I filmed this a little early because the weeks before September arrives, I will be going on vacation, and I hope to bring at least one of these books with me to get an early start, as I did not complete my summer TBR. I completed some of it, not all of it, which you will soon see. Alright, let's start off with a very obvious one. That's been on my TBR since spring, but I'm really hoping to finally get through it, because I feel like fall is such a cozy season, such a read season, such a rainy season. I think this book will somehow fit into that. I mean, I've been arguing that this book fits into any season at this point. Yeah, I have the goal of finishing a classic this year, and this is the classic I picked. So this will get finished at some point. It's just, I don't know when. For people who don't know, it's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And it is a romance classic written by Jane Austen, and I am currently 69 pages in. That's not too bad, but it's also not good. I tend to read this at a slower pace, so I'm having trouble because I don't know if it's just this classic, but classics in general for me tend to be slower paced. So coming from reading like rom-coms, contemporary rom-coms or fantasy books where stuff's happening like this, and switching over to this has been hard. But I really do want to read this, and I think maybe bringing it with me on vacation might be a nice thing to do. But the obvious one out of the way. The second one might be a bit of a surprise because it is a non-fiction book, and it is Trick Mirror. Trick Mirror is a non-fiction reflection book on self-delusion, and it is a essay type book, so there's several essays in here. I don't know if it's by the same author, I think so, but it is basically a shit ton of essays are in here, and I've had this on my shelf for years, and you can see that I've actually read like half of the book, a little over half, but I haven't picked it up in years, and I really want to try again because I want to get more into nonfiction, especially like more feminist, queer nonfiction works, because of the fact that I think it's not only, I would like to educate myself not only through reading fiction works, but also non-fiction works, because I think both can be very powerful in the way they educate people. So we're gonna try to get through the last half of this in the fall months. I also just think, I don't know if it's the colors, like the orangey, pinkish, yellowish, that makes me think of fall, but it also, I don't know, I don't know if fall is just such a reading season for me that any book can fit into fall, but this can fit into fall in my head. So I hope I will really enjoy this. I did know that I enjoyed the other essay in here. It's just a little bit dense for me, but I also read this, started reading this when I was like just out of high school, and I'm now thoroughly into uni, so I read a lot of essays, texts, and articles that are a bit more dense, so I think I'll have an easier time with this now than I used to have. Then comes another random one. I was supposed to read this one for book club, Sapphic book club, and I didn't, and I feel a little bit sad about that. But basically, Last Night at the Telegraphy Club is a novel about a telegraphy club, two women falling in love, but it's also about, I think, the Red Scare, being Sapphic in the 1950s and how that all works. And I think it is sadly extra relevant today with the political climate that we have been, not we, but some people have been creating. And I think it's extra important to read stories like this to, as I said with the previous book, get educated. And it's not only getting educated, it's also, I think it's silly to say, but I think if you don't read diverse, you have more trouble understanding like diverse perspectives in a way. And I think for me, reading has always been a way for me to learn about stuff that I usually would not truly know or feel, because I clearly do not have that experience. And I think this book is going to offer me some insights regarding what it would be like to be an immigrant. I, of course, will never feel the pain, the fear that and the feelings that some immigrants feel. I'm never going to feel like that, but I acknowledge that I do want to learn, even if this is a fiction work. I think it will still be really important. It also got a ton of awards apparently on the cover, but we'll see. I am really excited to read this. A friend of mine read it and said they felt really like interested in the story, but that I shouldn't expect like rom-com-esque. This is a more serious toned book, and I knew that going in, so I'm excited still to read this. Then to balance it out is actually a book or two books that I don't have. It is one of the two books. Basically, I either want to have a less difficult read, because the first three books are going to be more difficult reads for me. So I wanted to balance out the rest of the list with three books that are going to be very, not easy reads, but they're going to be like really, I'll get through them quicker, and they're like easy to pick up like before I go to bed, basically. So the book, or the books I'm doubting between, is Can't Spell Treason with a T, which I'll put here. And it is what I have known, it is a cozy fantasy that has Saphics. That's most that I know. And I know I really love Lunch and Lattes, which was also Sapphic cozy fantasy. But then I did not enjoy Bookshops and Bone Dust. So I'm curious what I would think about that one. But I'm doubting, because the other option I have, because I rarely buy books anymore. I try to read fully for my physical TBR. I'm trying to get through that. But I am rewarding myself if I finish my summer philosophy course with a book, because I think that would be cute. So the other option is, why have I Everything She Does Is Magic. Oh, I love how my brain leaves. Okay, but Everything She Does Is Magic is also a Sapphic cozy fantasy, but I think this is more rom-com-esque and this is more cozy, like cozy fantasy-esque. So I am doubting between both of them. If you guys have any recommendations, because probably by the time this video has come out, I have not ordered yet. So if you guys have like preferences, if you guys really like either of the two, please let me know. But that's going to be, one of those will also be on my fall TBR, just as a not really a palate cleanser, but like as an easy book that I can read in like 2-3 days, and then I'm having a fun time, you know what I mean? Like, it's really silly, it's really cozy, it's making you feel like you're drinking a cup of tea kind of thing. Then, going back to the kind of like darker side, but a book that I've been meaning to read, and that I think fits fall well, is Off With Their Heads. I showed this in a haul video of mine, and I did actually start it. I got 50 pages in, exactly. And this is a Alice in Wonderland sapphic, kind of darker themed book that I have been meaning to get back to. Sometimes I pause books and I will start reading them again suddenly a year later. This has not been a year, but I really want to read it because I think I was originally gonna read this Ravenous Fate in fall because vampires, October, magic, kind of related to fall. But I actually read that already. I already read it, I enjoyed it. I'm probably picking up the next one as well, like the second book in the series. But I had another really cool, a bit of a darker fantasy magic system that is kind of creepy but really interesting. I had another on my shelf, and that was Off With Their Heads. So I'm really excited to get back into this because I think this is going to be such an interesting read to get back into, because when I did read it, I was so intrigued by the plot. It is very poetic writing, and the writer knows what to do with metaphors, with like almost lyrical writing, but it's so good. I really do recommend it. I think it's so interesting. And I'm saying that 50 pages in, so we're not even at the main plot, I don't think. I really don't know. I don't know much of what the plot is, but I am really excited to get through it, so let's go. The last one is a really recent edition. I was originally gonna add either Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood, which is a YA rom-com by Ali Hazelwood, which is one of my comfort authors, like guilty pleasure authors. Or I was going to add Focus on Love. I don't know for sure what the title is, but it's a sapphic adult rom-com. Both of those my grandparents gifted to me. So I could be reading those because they are on my physical TBR as well. And I tried to make most of my TBRs from my physical TBR. But fall also really makes me think of, maybe it's because the Renfire is on fall, but it makes me think of D&D. It makes me think of fantasy. It makes me feel just D&D-esque. And I don't know if it's just because I'm currently playing Curse of Strahd. No spoilers, please. We are very early on in the campaign. But I'm currently playing Curse of Strahd, and like D&D is just intrinsically tied now to fall for me because of the fact that I'm playing a vampire-esque campaign that does remind me of fall. And I saw this, and it was on my TBR, but on my non-physical TBR, on my like books I want to read at some point. And I was out in the city with a friend, and I promised myself, no, I will not buy a book because I'm still kind of on a low-key book buying ban. Like, other people can give me books, but that's it. So I haven't bought a book for myself in a bit, but I never thought, and maybe that's a bit of a sad thought, but I never thought I would see this book in one of my local bookstores. Because you gotta understand, I live in the Netherlands. I live in the Netherlands, which means that English sections in bookstores are often smaller because we mostly have Dutch literature, especially if you're from smaller areas like I am. But I was in a city with a friend of mine, and they had a whole D&D book display, and I was like, oh Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is so cool that they have that. And then I spotted this, and since I finished Dungeon Drama and Dating and Dragons, I wanted to pick another D&D romance up. And I found this. And I knew I wanted to read it at some point. But I, as I said, had never expected, for the aforementioned reasons, that it would be in a local bookstore, because it is sapphic, and it's just, you see it less, you know? And I just didn't expect it, and when I saw it, I got so excited, because it's also recently released, and I was like, oh, are you kidding me? And I saw the love of the worker who made the display, because they left little reviews for each of the books there, and I just had to pick it up. So Roll for Love, a critical hit to the heart, is a book that is a rom-com, but it is a rom-com in a rom-com, because not only are you following the real characters falling in love, you are following their D&D characters also falling in love. Yes, I had no choice, and I have no regrets. Support your local businesses, support your local bookstores, and yeah, it's so exciting, it's so exciting. And yeah, for someone who thought I was gonna have to order this via like some sketchy big ass business site, I was so excited to be able to support a local bookstore. So I hope that's clear, and I hope, yeah. So this time I have, once again, 6 books on my TBR. Last season didn't go so well. I will also say I kind of got into a reading slump, and you can't see that by my stats, because my monthly stats are good. It was hard for me to read and keep entertained. So I was reading a lot of, almost I would say, easy books. But I realized that my reading pace has picked up. So I thought, why not challenge myself to read a couple more difficult books to see if I can get through those a bit quicker than I usually would now compared to like when I started them a couple months back. We'll see, but either way, I'm really excited for this stack. And I think that's almost where we'll end the video. First, I would like to ask a question, because I've been thinking about making more journal content, but my bullet journal setups are not regular bullet journal setups anymore. So I thought what might be cute was sharing my journal in another way, because I now have a book journal that maybe I could even film if I made my winter TBR or my winter bucket list, because I make both for the seasons. I could share how I get ready for a new season, get ready for a new quarter of the year, kind of. And yeah, I was interested in hearing if you guys would be interested in seeing how I make that exciting, how I make that fun for myself. Yeah, because I think that might be interesting. So yeah, let me know what, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!